Now I'm going to show you how to adjust your Mediafile settings, more specifically the print location on each of your samples. So I've already got my rack loaded with my tubes, and I've got my ink inserted into the print head. So now I'll go to my computer and hit load text and print. And the stage is going to move to the back left corner to rehome itself. I'm printing 4 tubes. Now it's going to go under the UV light right now. Now it's moved to the print head and then back under the UV light, and that first tube is done. Now it's going to switch over to that 5th tube. Now it's going to jump down to the 46th tube, and then now finally it's going to print that 50th tube, and we'll check out the print and see how they look. So here's the first tube we've got right here, and the 50th tube as well. If you'll notice, it's a little bit off of the white patch. It's too far to the right, so we're going to want to move it more towards the left. So to do so, I'll show you in the settings how we change that. I'll load some new tubes real quick and then adjust the settings on the computer. So I've got my software opened up. I'm going to go ahead and click into the advanced rack settings. And right here, if you remember, my print was too far to the right. I'm going to go ahead and click left a couple of times. I've got message selected in the drop-down menu, so you didn't see anything move in the image preview, but when it prints, it will have moved over. So I'm going to go ahead and save that file, load my text up again, and then hit print tubes. And the TubeWriter is now going to go ahead and start that printing process of all 4 of those tubes again. And when it's done, we'll check it out. Now that it's done, I'll open up those safety cage doors. The first print I did had the text off of the white patch, so I needed to move the text over a bit. So I went into the software, made some adjustments with the directional arrow keys, and you'll see that now the entire text is on the white patch and no longer off of the white patch like it was on the first print run. That's one way you can move the print location. Another way, like I explained in the standard settings video, you can move the print location by going back to those advanced rack settings and adjusting the element 1X and element 1Y, or moving each line individually by selecting that message drop down and selecting element 1 through 5 and using the left and right buttons to move them as you see fit. Now I'm going to show you what to do if your print is too high or too low on the tube and the text is getting distorted. So I'll go ahead and print right now, and we'll check out the tubes and how they look so we can see what adjustments we need to make. So now the TubeWriter is going to go ahead and print that first tube and the last tube. So it's done printing. I'll go ahead and open up that safety cage and grab my tubes. So if you look at this tube, the last line of text on it seems to be a little bit more stretched out and not as crisp as the other 2 lines. To fix that, we'll need to adjust the distance between rows, because this is the 50th tube. Here was the first tube that we just printed, and all 3 lines of text look good. None of them are stretched out compared to that last line of text. See how that last line of text is a little bit more stretched out? So to fix that, we'll change some settings using the distance between rows. So I'll go ahead and load up some new tubes on my rack, and we'll print again. And then we'll go back into the advanced rack settings, and we'll look for the distance between rows setting. Right now it's set to 7,600. Let's go ahead and drop that down to about 7,425. I will save it and hit load text and print again. And now it's going to print, and we'll see and compare it to how we just printed and how it looked then. So it's done printing. I'll open up that safety cage and check it out. Here's that last tube, and if you remember correctly, On the last print job we did, that last line of text was a little bit stretched out and kind of warped. This is the 50th tube after we made those adjustments, and now that last line of text isn't as stretched out and warped. And here it is for a side-by-side to compare the two tubes. So that's one way you can adjust the print location. So if the text that's printed on the tube, whether it be the top line, the bottom line, looks to be a little bit warped or is stretching, what you'll want to do is you'll adjust the distance between rows and distance between columns. So with this example, the last line of text was stretching a little bit and looked a little bit warped. So what I did is I decreased that distance between rows to move the text up, because our goal is to aim for the middle section of the tube. Obviously, all of these tubes are rounded, they're a curved surface, but the goal is to get our prints to be as centered as possible so we're not too close to the hard curves of the bottom of the tube or the top of the tube, because if you're too close to that hard curvature of the tube, that text is going to start to spread and warp and may not look as crisp and clean as it would if it were centered directly in the middle of the tube. And that was how you adjust the Mediafile settings, specifically the print location of your samples.